Bentornati carissimi. Welcome back my friends, we are here once again in Cataclysm with our friend Tim Knudsen. Just now returned from a very successful scavenging run that brought us, let's open the map so that I can show you, that brought us, let's say, all around the southern portion of Burnham, the nearest town. We were able to enter and find, I would say, useful stuff in most of these buildings here in the south of Burnham, and we finished with a very nice visit to this military surplus store up here, where we found very interesting stuff. And actually, the other very interesting and very good thing that we obtained in our latest run was this vehicle up here, which is our rolling meth lab. Currently holding a lot of loot. Everything is stored inside here, inside the vehicle. We have also found another useful vehicle, which is the electric bike that we actually left, I would say, right in here, more or less in the corner between these buildings. We will get there again, and we will get it. And I have a plan for that vehicle. I want to turn it into not only an electric bike, but a foldable electric bike. Now that I think about it, to make a foldable electric bike, maybe I needed a mod, the foldable parts mod. I will have to check. Anyway, that would be cool. A foldable bike means that you can basically fold it and transform it into an object instead of a vehicle, an object that you can pick up and store, for example, in this vehicle here, and bring it around, and then take it out and unfold it only when you need it. But maybe I spoke too soon, because maybe you need a mod for that. But I will have to check it and get back to you when I know a little bit more about it. So, what now? I think now I want to spend some time taking all the stuff out of the rolling meth lab, bring it all up inside the basin here, and organize it a little bit by category. Also, I want to set up this corner here of the base as the space we want to use for crafting, reading, cooking, that sort of stuff. When you craft, there is a certain distance around you from where you can automatically pick up the materials. So you want to have all your materials and also all your books with the recipes inside a certain radius around you, which I believe is like a couple of tiles. So I will now try to do just that. I will not bore you with all the little micromanagement, so this portion will be sped up, and I will back to you once everything is tidied up. Alright, here we are. So I've done quite a lot of moving stuff around, quite a bit of organizing. This where I'm standing right here will be the spot where we stand when we want to craft something, and probably also when we want to cook, because this distance to the brazier should be close enough for us to use the fire source for cooking. So where have I put our stuff? In the cupboard right here I've stored all our tools, so stuff like hammers, butcher knives, sewing kits, but also the stuff that is used to recharge things like batteries, thread that is used in the sewing kit, and stuff like that. Then down here in this spot right here I've put all the books, so all the books will be in here where we will grab them to read them, but also they will be here at hand for checking up the recipes, which is something that happens automatically anyway. A little bit on the right in here we have all the food that is non-perishable, at least is non-perishable until you open it. Then I have to move to show you inside the cupboard. Here instead is all the food that is actually perishable. Now, perishable might mean spoils in 2 days or spoils in 3 seasons, but it's the same for the point of view of how I want to categorize it. I have moved in here our firewood source spot, which was probably down here before. I hope this is close enough to work with the brazier down here, but we'll see. In here I just dumped the wood ash produced by the brazier working before. Here, right next to the door, I've put the sponge and the filthy gear. We picked out something that was equipped by zombies, and so it's in a state of being filthy. This means that using it or equipping it makes you lose morale. It's obviously annoying and stupid, but on filthy clothes. But also, the other drawback is that, for example, if you are in a really tight spot and you have to wear filthy clothes and you get damaged, for example, you just get a cut by climbing through a window, even if that wouldn't normally make you contract the zombie disease, you can still contract it because of the filthy clothes. So it's a good idea to wash the gear that you intend to use, of course. What else? In this spot here I've put all our containers, so glass jars, the plastic canteen, metal tank. Actually the canteen, I don't know, can I didn't check. Can I add the canteen to my tool belt? No, but the canteen can be put on its own. It's a wearable item. However, okay, it doesn't conflict. My fear was that it would conflict with something like a belt. Actually, where is the canteen? The canteen went to the left leg. Here. No, wait. Right leg? Oh, okay. It was in here. I couldn't see it for some reason. It says, this is worn on or around your waist. Okay, this is cool. It is worn on the waist, but encumbers the left leg. And even if it is strapped, I think. Okay, this has been changed at some point, because you see now the knee pads says this is strapped onto you, and it is of course strapped to the right and left leg because we have equipped both knee pads. The plastic canteen is probably on a different layer entirely, because I feared it would conflict with the knee pads being something that is kind of strapped onto you, because the rule is you can have something next to the skin, something on top, then something on the outer layer, so up to 3 layers, then you can have something strapped. And this for example fits with imagine an undershirt, a shirt, a jacket, and a backpack which is strapped on your torso, on your back. However, the plastic canteen is using another layer entirely, probably. It's what I'm guessing. So it doesn't encumber us a lot. The only difference that I see right here is a 9 encumbrance instead of 7, but still very low. Our torso right now is fairly encumbered because I have upgraded. I took the chance to look through all the stuff that we gathered, and I upgraded our armor quite a bit. If I go back to torso, we're now wearing an undershirt. The leather touring suit that is still very good for us, for the spot in which we are now, because not only it has 5 bash and cut protection, which are the most common types of damage that you receive while doing combat, for example, it also has environmental protection. It has acid, fire, and in general environmental protection, meaning protection against gases and stuff like that. So a very good, very good piece of clothing. Then we have our very handy tool belt strapped around the worn on or around the waist, says. So the tool belt is storing for us right now a hammer and the entrenching tool, which is a very neat tool that we found and that I want to try using to dig pits to use as traps to lure zombies into. However, digging takes a bit of time, so I don't want to do it like right away. There's other things to do during the first day, if possible. Like for example, reading some books and getting like the first few levels in really important skills. Then we have another very nice piece of gear that we found in the military surplus store, which is an empty ballistic vest. Now, I remembered like how ballistic vests used to be, and they used to do not a lot by their own, but then you would use either Kevlar or steel or ceramic inserts to provide a very good amount of protection. This one instead is a ballistic vest on its own, so it's probably made of Kevlar and hard plastic and stuff like that, or at least that should be the lore behind it, and it has 18 bash and cut protection with 85% coverage and only 6 encumbrance on the torso, so it's very good. I changed my normal and leather backpack for a molly pack, which is slightly smaller in terms of volume that it can carry, however is much better in terms of encumbrance. So we will run with a molly pack for now, and we will also store a normal backpack in the car. Now between the backpack and the leather backpack has only the advantage of being more resistant, because everything you have on you when you do combat can take damage, and if your backpack takes too much abuse, it will break and all your stuff will spill on the ground. So it would be nice to have the leather backpack, but for now it's too much encumbrance. The leather backpack is heavier and so it encumbers you more. Also, last thing, oh right, I equipped both elbow pads and knee pads because we found them, and so why not use them? They don't encumber us actually at all. And what was the other thing? The other thing was, alright, tactical gloves, which are a little bit encumbering but are much better at protecting your hands than our light gloves that we had previously. And I switched the winter boots with combat boots. The encumbrance is the same. 15 on your feet is still a bit high. I would love to find boots that have lower encumbrance, because that would mean us both walking and running faster. But for now, these have 6 bash, 9 cut, and again 1-1-2 when it comes to environmental protection, which is very good. Also is very good for the feet, because you might end up like walking on a puddle of acid or something like that. That is all. One thing that I hope to find sooner rather than later is more protection for the eyes, because I want to protect the eyeglasses. We have chosen to be short-sighted with Tim as a negative trait, so we have to wear eyeglasses. If we found something like eye protection or safety glasses that can be worn on top of the eyeglasses, that would be just amazing, because those would be the first thing to receive the damage. I also remember putting on a helmet. For some reason I get like blindness when I do this sort of things, because I'm not seeing it. Here it is, because it's poor fit. It's the army helmet. I've equipped it even if it is poor fit, because encumbrance on the head, if the item doesn't also cover your mouth, means nothing. You can encumber your head as much as you want. There is no neck strain, luckily, in the game, at least that I know. Okay, where was I? So, I'll use the mouse. Containers, firewood source. In here we have drugs and chemicals. So for example, our soap also is here, that I should move actually. Doesn't make sense to have the sponge in here and the soap in here. So let me grab it. Soap bar, 30 uses. No, I didn't want to hit that button. And I will drop it in here. Then we have tools, we have chemicals, we have books. This is our harmonica that we found. I dropped it in here because I want to try and use it for like doing the trick of playing and reading at the same time, or playing and crafting at the same time, to like recover morale and thus focus at the same time when you spend it. So we will try it. In here I have all the spare parts. So if I take a look with the advanced inventory and I select only this spot, in here we have the glass shards, the blades, chunk of steels, heating elements, strings, straw, everything that can be used as raw materials for crafting. I have separated, even though it's more or less the same thing. Up here we got a tiny electric motor by disassembling a lawnmower. I kept it separate because technically the electric motor is a vehicle component. It could be used, for example, for making a second electric bike. Then this area, all this area on top is more, it's not really for crafting, it's more like a staging area for the loot, which is something that I do more often than not. When bringing back loot, I will roughly sort it and dump it somewhere, probably like near the door, and then pick and choose what I want to move around the base and put it where it's needed. In here I have all the armor, all the elements that all the gear that counts as armor. So there's a As you can see, there's a tactical helmet, hard chest guard, and the plates that would go into the vest. I'm not putting the plates on yet because actually I should test it, because I only remember how it was in previous versions. But let's see, what's the heaviest? This is the heaviest type of plate. What if I add this? How do I use them? Do I have to remove the vest? Probably. Let's take off our empty ballistic vest. I was looking for vest, but again, it looks like I'm blind when I'm doing these sort of things. Do I use it? No, it doesn't look like I use it. This is strange. So I have the empty ballistic vest in here. It says ballistic armor without any armor inserts. The soft armor plate carrier is still protected, but it won't stop high energy projectiles. Activate? You can't do anything interesting. What? A polygonal ceramic ballistic plate with a slightly concave blah 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 blah. How do I put it together? Do I actually need the tailoring kit to do this? This is really strange. Wait a second. Do I load it? Do I reload? No, because it shows only the canteen and the headlamp. Do I craft it? That's the wrong key. Do I craft it? Let's see. Ballistic. Isapi ballistic vest. Yes, it's a crafting recipe. You apply... Does this mean that you cannot take them out again? If it's so, this sucks. Okay, let me look at this. So, what's the encumbrance of the ballistic vest without any sort of plate? Let's get all the possible plates. Let's look at the ballistic vest. It has encumbrance 6 and it is 1818. Encumbrance 6. Again, wrong button. This is the key. Why does it only show the SAPI when I clearly have also the ESBI? ESBI. Again, wrong key. What's wrong with you, man? ESBI. That's not right, is it? That's not right. Let me look at it like this. Let me search for component plate. Do I need both? I need both. So it was showing as possible before because they were near. They were on the ground, so inside the range, the minimal range for crafting. So actually, to make it into a full ESAPI, ballistic vest or whatever it's called, I will need 2 ESAPI and 2 ESBI ballistic plates. And it will become an encumbrance 10 Bash 50 Cat 90 protection vest. We are very encumbered though. I am extremely reluctant to put any more weight on our torso because here our dodging. Now I never remember what's the effective one. Let me see. It should explain it here. Your ability to dodge an oncoming? This should be incoming, right? Incoming threat. Be it an enemy's attack, a triggered trap, or a falling rock. This skill is also used in an attempt to fall gracefully and other acrobatic feats. The first number shown includes modifiers, and the second does not. So the skill is 3. However, for a number of reasons, probably synergies with other skills and other stuff like that, our effective dodging is now 5.3. Now if I, for example, remove something that encumbers our torso, for example, I take off the molly pack, no room, drop it, yes, along with several items, of course. It's now 6. I have recovered almost an entire point of dodging. What if now I wear again the molly pack. I also wear the ballistic vest. Now I'm up to 25 encumbrance on the torso. That went at 5.2, so the vest on its own didn't up it too much. Can I like simulate this? Can I put on, actually get everything? Okay. Can I simulate this by wearing something else on the torso? For example, this leather corset. This will be bad for now. I went from 20, was it like 25, and I'm 34? So I lost another entire point. Now it won't be as bad. I should take off the undershirt, which is conflicting right now. Still 34? What is this? Even if it is conflict. Oh, no. Wait. It is conflicting. See, it's 34 plus 2. So it's not just 34. It's 34 plus 2. So the leather corset is adding 7. So it is a good benchmark actually. So if I take off the undershirt again, the dodging becomes 4.3. It's an entire point, 5.3 or 4.3, and being that, so I mean having like 50 bash protection on the torso would be great. However, let's look at the protection that we have elsewhere. For example, on our arms, which are often enough subject to bites. We only have the elbow pads, which are great but only cover 30%, and the leather touring suit. So we effectively have like, let's say 5 or a little bit more. Let's account for that 30% more coverage. Let's say we have 7 protection on the arms. So it doesn't really make sense to encumber yourself too much on only one body part. Yes, we would be effectively invulnerable on attacks on the torso, but we can still get deep bites on the arms. And this is not good. So unless we find very good armor for everything, then we can start like doing the trade-off of increasing our encumbrance, getting a little bit slower, but for the sake of being a lot more tankier. So for now, I want to drop again this, and I want also to drop the leather corset. I was just joking. I'm not gonna wear the leather corset. I could, but again, too much encumbrance. And I want to wear the undershirt because it's one more protection for free on the torso. So now we are sitting at 25 encumbrance with a light pack, because let's remember that the backpack has minimal encumbrance when empty, but the encumbrance goes up when it gets full. So for now we have 5.2 dodge. Let's try to stay around 5 for now. Let's give us that as a rule. Then, okay, let's try to quickly finish the base store. This is getting really long. So again, here we have the stuff that we decided we considered armor. The leather corset shouldn't be in there. Actually, let's take it, and I will tell you where do I drop it in a second. In here we have just stuff made of cloth in general, especially stuff that for now I want to keep. In here, these are wearables, but not necessarily clothes. So backpacks, holsters, scabbards, dust masks, leather backpack, stuff like that. And we get to here. There's a bunch of stuff in here. This is stuff that I want to disassemble or cut or just break apart for raw components, which is something that we will do in a second. In here instead, this is gear, but gear that I don't want to necessarily bring around always with me. Actually, I'm looking at it again, and there is something that I want to store on the vehicle. And here is even more gear, but let's say this is spare stuff, or stuff that we want to keep, absolutely want to keep, but we don't have a use for right away. For example, having a bunch of just lighters and matchbooks. Do I have one on me right now? Okay, I have to pick up one because I stored everything. I will keep the most full, the lighter that is in better shape. 86 small fires in it. This is again stuff that I could decide to just pick up and run, but actually this is all stuff that I want on the vehicle, really. Yeah, this is stuff that I want on the vehicle. And there's the winter coat there that I should move also. Okay. I am refining the way we store things as we speak. So in here, I will also store the rubber hose, because I don't need to have it on me all the time, but it's important to have it near, so on the vehicle is the right spot. Rubber hose, radio, mess kit, so if I need to cook something on the spot, gas lantern. I could keep the gas lantern like in the base to continue like crafting or reading at night, but let's store it on the vehicle for now. Let's say this is our solution for long trips. Folded poncho, which is good if it starts raining and we want to be outside and not get extremely wet. Pick up the winter coat again and drop everything in here. Actually, the leather corset I want to disassemble. Alright, now I want to drag this stuff right under my feet in here in the crafting spot, and let's hit the key.